Hello everyone and welcome to a more sedate, more civilised and less Will Smithilised look at the G.P.S dongle for the ASUS Transformer Prime. In this video we'll have a look at the problem, the response, the solution and the conclusion to this rather bizarre episode in the Prime's life. And then finally we might be able to just move on from it all. Now the story begins on the vast ocean of the internet where early reports surfaced that the initial batch of Transformer Primes had questionable Wi-Fi and G.P.S performance. This seemed to be down to the Prime's beautiful but seemingly self-destructive metal back plate. Up until this news story broke, I, to be honest, was barely aware that the Prime was even advertised as having G.P.S functionality. When the hell would I use it? I thought to myself. More on that later. I was, however, far more concerned that Wi-Fi was an issue, but when I purchased my Prime and used it for a couple of weeks, I found the Wi-Fi to be solid and reliable, so I moved on, although there's more on that later as well. But the criticism being levelled towards ASUS over the G.P.S issue was relentless. The community forums were up in arms and it only seemed to be exacerbated by the presence of an ASUS employee on the XDA forums who, while genuinely trying to help out, seemed to create a focal point for which disgruntled enthusiast uses a punching bag for ASUS. Look! Someone at ASUS is actually listening to us! Yeah! He's a heretic! Kill him with fire! At the heart of this saga was an acronym, RMA. It's probably part of the ASUS Transformer Prime keyword search by now. RMA, or Return Merchandise Agreement, seemed to be every Prime owner's get out of jail card. The fact that G.P.S was advertised on the TFP BOX but DNW meant that RMA was ATR. Oh, sorry, I almost fell into rap again there. Could it be then that three tiny letters and a piece of functionality that is probably an afterthought to most users could cause such a storm in a teacup that ultimately it's going to cost ASUS hundreds of thousands of whatever currency you believe in? Well, despite still not having a clue what I would actually use G.P.S for on my tablet, I thought that being the authority on the ASUS Transformer Prime and the go-to guy for all your ASUS Transformer Prime videos on the best ASUS Transformer Prime YouTube channel, I had a duty to my billions of viewers and millions of fans to investigate what ASUS was going to do about it. Now, I have to be honest with you, my investigative journalism into the G.P.S problem was neither thorough nor lengthy. The two reasons being, number one, I can barely be bothered investigating what's in my own fridge for tea, and number two, ASUS solved the problem by announcing a solution right before they launched a TF300, as a kind of appeasement, I guess. What I did find out, however, was that, as you can see from this video, using G.P.S on the Prime amounted to a lot of tapping of fingers and waiting up to 5 minutes to get, if you were lucky, a couple of satellites. On very rare occasions, if I went outside, I might get a few more satellite fixes, but in comparison to another G.P.S device, such as the Samsung Galaxy S2, there was no comparison. So, the community did have a point. G.P.S was an advertised feature, and then, when it was discovered that it wasn't a working feature, ASUS hurriedly scribbled out those three letters from the tablet's specifications. Not the most sensible marketing strategy in the face of such a rabid and now openly hostile user base. But credit where credit is due to ASUS. They held up their hands and apologised, albeit through some hardcore marketing speak. The response to the TF201 generally has been overwhelmingly positive, but we understand that in certain regions the G.P.S functionality has not met some users' expectations. At ASUS, we are committed to delivering innovative, high-quality products and services, and our customers' experience is important to us. Although the TF201 is not a professional G.P.S device, as part of our unwavering commitment to our customers, we are offering all customers who purchased a TF201 system a free extension G.P.S kit called a dongle. So this was great news, a free G.P.S extension kit to fix a problem. That's something to actually applaud the company for doing. All we had to do was register online and submit the serial number from our tablet and wait for the G.P.S to be posted. I must admit I still had some doubts at this point. Was this an international fix or one exclusive to a certain territory, such as North America? Well, I checked the website every day and it didn't look too promising. My status stayed at submitted for 10 days. And then, suddenly, it just arrived. So, not only had ASUS developed and manufactured a fix, they also posted thousands of dongles all across the globe. You have to admit, that's pretty good customer service. Now, onto the G.P.S dongle fix itself. Behind all the packaging and behind all the beautiful, gorgeous, addictive bubble wrap, I must pop the bubbles. What do we have that's going to fix our navigation woes? Well, the first thing is the packaging. Yeah, sorry about that. I can't look beyond the packaging just yet. It looks very neat, prim and official, as if I could go into a computer store and buy it off the shelf. I thought these dongles would be rushed out of the factory like Russian tanks. Cold steel, no time to even give it a lick of paint. But it's clear that this dongle has gone through a committee. Yes, it's a fix for the first generation Prime owners, but is the intention to sell this bad boy for $30 or so once the July 31st deadline passes? I wonder. Now onto the dongle. As you can see, it's a long fat metal strip that looks like a comb or, as I said in another video, a highlighter pen. Rather critically, the dongle slots into the tablet's keyboard docking ports. So what you're witnessing right now is how to turn your ASUS Transformer Prime into an ASUS Prime in one swift step. A ton of functionality wiped out in a second. The Prime's unique selling point abandoned, also that the tablet knows where the hell it is. And my, does that dongle look ugly. Why are the screws front facing so that I can always see them? And that sticker is absolutely horrible, although the obvious solution is to just rip it off. Whereas the hump looks elegant as part of a keyboard dock, the dongle simply makes my tablet look as though it's got a hardware tumour or something. But after the problem, the response, the online applications, the marketing speak, the packaging and so on, does the G.P.S dongle actually provide a solution? Well, at first it didn't work at all. I thought it was because there was a firmware update I needed to install that wasn't out in the UK yet. But it turned out that I just needed to switch my G.P.S location services off and then back on again in the settings. A cold boot probably wouldn't hurt either, so let those be 2 tips for you to remember when you get your G.P.S dongle. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the proof you all needed. The G.P.S dongle does work for the Prime. It's found lots of satellites and it's using about half of them. In a face-off now against the Samsung Galaxy S2, it actually matches it. Again, at this point, I'll have to apologise for my lazy-ass investigative journalism, but this is the only test I could be bothered to do. As I've already said, I can't see when I'll ever need to use this dongle. I suppose the one thing I could do is use it as a badass sat-nav for my car. And if you're wondering how to do this, you can download an application called NavFree, which downloads maps onto your device so it doesn't have to connect to the internet. And as the name suggests, it's absolutely free. However, I have no idea where I would fit it in my tiny car, and I'd have to buy an outrageous tablet stand to fit it. And what do sat-navs often need to do while they're being used? Yeah, that's right, they need to recharge because they're quite power hungry, so it's very important that you keep your sat-nav plugged in. Oh. The fact is, the story surrounding the G.P.S saga has far outweighed the problem itself. In my other video, I took a wild stab at saying that the G.P.S is broken for the large majority of owners, but only a fraction of those people would actually ever use it. Wi-Fi, on the other hand, is an absolutely essential component of any tablet, and almost everyone within the user base is likely to use it. I have to admit that reports on how broken Wi-Fi is on the Prime are inconclusive. Some say it's completely broken, others say it has very poor range, and some, like me, say it's occasionally a little erratic, but generally okay. However, when I had a quick play on one of the new iPads recently, browsing speed blew the Prime completely out of the water. It could be something to do with Adobe Flash, it could be something to do with Android. I'm simply not sure. Whatever the case, Wi-Fi is a grey area when it comes to the Prime, and it seems obvious and logical that if ASUS were going to do their damnedest to fix something, it should have been that, not G.P.S. And finally, we have this evil creation. My intention was to make 2 videos on the G.P.S story, the first being the ludicrous rap as a little tongue-in-cheek offering, and then this longer, more serious video. However, I never had any intention of intertwining the videos, but in a very tiny way, the fresh G.P.S of TFP actually became part of the story. How, may you ask? Well, ASUS themselves actually tweeted my video. Creative feedback indeed, ASUS, but it wasn't meant to be entirely positive feedback. The only conclusion I can make from all this is that ASUS really are jolly nice people, but they are, well, a little bit dim. They obviously heard their customers were saying something, but I don't think they actually ever listened to what they were saying. If I run out of gas and call for assistance, I don't expect or want the recovery van to bring me a spare tyre. Did ASUS simply take a guess, dip their hand into a lucky dip bag on what to fix, or did they hand select the easiest fix with the most marketable goodwill? Or am I just being too harsh? Well, I guess that's another video for another time. And with plenty of thumbs, of course.